7. A lot of people say, well, look, I don't have the money to buy gold. A fifth of an ounce, quarter of an ounce. Ted's got great deals on sovereigns, francs, you name it. But silver, anybody, can buy a silver half dollar. I know you've got a great deal on those. Ted, tell us about the silver half dollars.
The Walking Liberty half. They're at $11.77. I mean, when it really comes down to it, people need to spread the message. People need to be educated so we can win elections. I mean, we had Ron Paul and Rand Paul elected to Congress just because of the fact that we're supporting them. It's this grassroots effort of what we're doing that gets them elected, and possibly we can turn around the system. People need to get these videos, hand them out. In the process, get some real silver dollars. This is the silver dollar that the people fought for during the 1700s so we could have this free nation, and this is what they said had to be money. And for some reason, we got away from this constitutional money, and now we have this fiat system, which is coming to the end of its life.
Absolutely. Let me give people the number for gold and silver, great prices, and that deal to get 3 silver dollars and 3 of my most powerful films for $87. That includes shipping, ladies and gentlemen. That's off the charts. Ted is losing money on this. 800-686-2237, 800-686-2237. But I'd get a lot more than 3 silver dollars, folks. 800-686-2237. Ted, I really appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you as this unfolds.
Yep.
Gold and silver shooting up right now. 800-686-2237. They're killing the dollar, folks. Stay with us.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex told you the government announced recently that the recession is over. It ended on June of 2009. The millions of Americans unable to find work might not agree. Perhaps the recession ended for the bankers and government employees, but for the rest of us, things seem to be getting worse. Gold and silver haven't heard the news either. They've begun their long-expected journey to the moon. In addition to converting your shrinking dollars into gold and silver, you should consider a food savings account from eFoods Direct. They both make fabulous investments. Food is our greatest dependency, and we know it will be more precious than any financial resource. You and your family need food to survive a crisis, and you can't eat paper, stocks, or metals. Alex has been urging you to invest in delicious, easy-fix meals to enjoy now or save for long-term. This will freeze the cost of your food while you can still afford it. Visit efoodsdirect.com on the internet or call 800-409-5633. That's efoodsdirect.com or 800-409-5633.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
We've got it.
on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Well, the Federal Reserve signaled a few years ago that they were going to start accelerating the monetization of debt. And I can think of no better expert to have on than somebody who's been listed by Forbes and many other publications as one of the most 10 most influential economists in the last 100 years, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former head of policy at the Treasury, father of Reaganomics, Wall Street Journal editor, formerly best-selling author. And let me read a few of these headlines before we go to him. U.S. Federal Reserve latest bubble threatens mayhem. That's the London Telegraph. They're talking about $600 billion to $1 trillion. That's also in the Wall Street Journal today. I have the Federal Reserve's press release. And you notice the 870-something billion for the bailout, that turned into trillions, according to Bloomberg. Here's another headline from Infowars.com. The Fed no longer cares about hiding the fact that it's killing the dollar. There's another great report from the economic collapse up on Infowars.com. 9 reasons why quantitative easing is bad for the U.S. economy. Buckle up and hold on. A new round of quantitative easing is here, and things could start getting very ugly. Yeah, look at gold and silver and oil and other commodities shooting up. And it goes through these 9 issues. Quantitative easing will damage the value of the U.S. dollar. That's number 1. Inflation is going to hit already struggling U.S. consumers really hard with higher prices. Number 3, once an inflation spiral gets going, it's really hard to stop. Number 4, inflation is a hidden tax on every American. Number 5, the solution to the housing bubble is not another housing bubble. Number 6, more quantitative easing threatens to destabilize the global financial system. They even had a Federal Reserve board governor from Kansas City come out and vote against it, saying that. Number 7, quantitative easing is an aggressive move in a world already on the verge of a currency war. Number 8, quantitative easing threatens the status of the dollar as the world reserve currency. Number 9, it's going to become more expensive for the U.S. government to borrow money. And, of course, then you have them already announcing that going out for the next 2 years, no COLA increase, cost of living increase for people on Social Security. So this will really hurt people on fixed incomes. And it's just incredible to see this thing accelerating. So I want to get Dr. Paul Craig Roberts' take on that. He's also written a new article that's extremely powerful, that dovetails with the New York Times. Opt out of a body scan, then brace yourself. ABC News reporting they will, palms up, grab your genitals in an act of submission. And Roberts gets it right on the head, nails it right on the head when he says might is right, and he gets into the naked body scanners. That's up on Infowars.com. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, Alex.
Good to have you here joining us via video Skype from your home. Dr. Roberts, break down what's happening with this QE2 and what this means to our dollar.
Well, Alex, I don't think we really know why the Fed is doing this. They actually have not announced that they're going to print the money and destroy the currency. They are explaining this policy as a way of stimulating the economy. They hope that it will further lower interest rates and cause some business investment and hiring that would help the economy get back on its feet. That's what they say. Now, I certainly agree with you and the report you read that the one consequence of what they've announced will be to hurt the dollar. And we already see evidence of that. But, of course, the dollar has been hurt for many years now by excess creation of dollars. And so, in a way, this is a continuation, perhaps an acceleration of the reduction of the dollar's exchange value. If we think about why the Fed is doing quantitative easing, one possible explanation is it's got nothing to do with an economic rebound. They're not really focused on bringing the economy back. They're trying to find a way to finance the massive budget deficits. You know, how do you finance a $1.4 trillion budget deficits when there's no American savings to buy the bonds? And when that deficit is a multiple of the combined trade surpluses of all of our trading partners, so that even if every country, such as China, Japan, the OPEC nations, that have sizable trade surpluses with the United States, even if every one of those dollars is recycled into purchasing Treasury debt, it can only take about, at the most, a third of the debt that has to be issued to finance the deficit. So this may simply be the Federal Reserve stepping in to purchase new Treasury debt under the cover of an economic stimulus plan. That's just my speculation, because the Fed is not going to tell us one way or the other. Now, the consequence is that there's tremendous buildup of excess reserves in the banking system. And under normal conditions, this would cause a massive inflation. But we don't have normal conditions. The banks aren't lending these excess reserves. So they're not finding their way. The money is not being expanded and finding its way into the economy. In other words, the money multiplier is not in effect. The banks sit on the reserves and are basically, I think, trading their troubled assets to the Federal Reserve for new bank reserves, which they themselves can then use to purchase new Treasury debt. So it might simply be a scheme of financing the budget deficits. And as long as these excess reserves that the Fed is creating, that's in effect what it's doing when it buys bonds, it's creating excess reserves. That money is not being expanded through the money multiplier by bank lending. And so it doesn't really result in the kind of inflation that you would expect.
Sure. Doctor, I mean, looking at the Economist, even the Wall Street Journal, the London Guardian, the Telegraph, they're saying clearly that, and we've seen, and you've talked about this on the show for years, that China and other countries are starting to not buy, all of the treasuries that are offered. And so they can't just let them sit there. I mean, they've got to finance this debt they've created. So you're saying that might be it. And I appreciate the fact that you're, being reserved and not definitive. But, either way you cut it, it is definitive, though, that people are starting to back away from the dollar, and that all we have left is the world reserve currency status. As you've said, we don't have an economy. We don't have trade. We just buy Chinese slave goods with more dollars. And so what happens as the dollar, we saw Christian Science Monitor last week, quoting the IMF and World Bank saying, we're going to go to these SDRs and basically have accelerated, coordinated global devaluation. They call this a currency war, but this goes back a year and a half ago to the G20. But correct me if I'm wrong, but they just openly stated that they were having this coordinated global devaluation of currencies, and I guess is some way to try to hide the fact that all major governments are doing